Welcome to the Two Boots Word Vault podcast. In this episode, Thomas R. Smith, friend of Como Cottage, reads some of his poems on November 9th, 2025. Thomas has been part of the Como Cottage Salon's poetry Scrum since 2011. It was good having him in the house again. Because what we're going to do for this first part is we're going to each take 10 to 15 minutes and read straight our chosen poems. We'll take a break, then we'll come back and we'll do the scrum part where we just feed off of each other and go around. And Thomas, we've been doing this since 2011, I think.
Is that when we invented this?
Yeah.
Actually, Tim invented it.
It's been a real joy for me to enjoy poetry that way. We might as well just get started with Mr. Thomas Smith. Come on, Thomas.
How's this?
That's great, thank you.
Yeah? This is more for recording than amplification.
Correct,
Is that right?
there's no application.
Oh, okay. Okay, got it. Well, I just say, I never take Doug for granted. I take him for sandstone. Off to an illustrious start. Well, I had a book that came out in the middle of COVID, and I never got much of a chance to read from it. So,
Yep.
is this coming through all right?
Yep.
So I decided I'm going to read a few poems from this today, mostly, and with one other thrown in. It's called Storm Island. This is the first poem in the book. I don't know if I've ever read it out loud. 1955 and snowing. There must be a place where my mother and father are still alive. And it's 1955 and snowing on the pulp logs stacked in the mill yard. Afternoon sunk to its axles in silence, and the sun, a vast snowflake pressing through the iron-gray clouds above the frozen Chippewa River. There must be a place where the silver runners of my sled still slice their crisp furrows in snow, now spreading its gleaming crystal wave like a woman's hair in a shampoo commercial on our new black and white TV, and where my cheeks still burn in the chafing cold with their native red vitality. Knowing I'll be called into a warm house from the bluing dusk lessens my hands' ache, pulling the sled back up the alley toward apartments Al Quapple shambled out of the old creamery. Along the Sioux Line tracks, the snarled bones of burdock wait under cindery ice for spring's approaching train whistle to wake them. There must be a place where everyone I know is near and no one has gone, not least the bright boy who slept soundly and woke in the sunrise of possibility. Oh, what has become of 1955 and Life magazine and Elvis Presley and Dwight and Mamie and being 7 years old while snow settles softly on the shoulders of woodpiles. 1955 and snowing. I was just up in my hometown the other day, Cornell, Wisconsin. So I guess I was in a nostalgic mood picking these out. This is kind of a tribute to the goddess in its own primitive way. It's called Miss Sandvik. I took 1 year of French in high school. That's the only year, my senior year, that our high school had French classes. And this was the teacher, Miss Sandvik. My senior year, our high school hired a French teacher. Ah, Miss Sandvik, prettiest of all the faculty. With your upswept blonde hair and kind blue eyes, you entranced the senior boys who couldn't get enough of the legs displayed to advantage by your tailored knee-length skirts. Like that romance tongue whose pleasures and challenges you taught, you were exotic, erotic. I know you knew how you attracted our bumptious teenage libidos, knocking against your glow, helpless as rough-winged moths. In college, the first French film I saw served to forever join the luscious young Catherine Deneuve to your image. The only teacher I asked to sign my yearbook, you wrote in a fluid, perfectly balanced hand, "Bonne chance." Nearly a half century later, I detect in your smile a slightly melancholy tolerance, perhaps for us hormone-buffeted youths, but maybe also for the circumstances of life that brought you, however briefly, to our provincial northern town, so far removed from the glories and refinements of the language and culture that were your passion. I hope, wherever you traveled from there, you found love, joie de vivre, even adventure with a man to match your savoir-faire. Whatever older woman you've become, in my memory, you're still Miss Sandvik, holding court with your flashing knees, your honey hair, blue eyes, somehow able to contain with humor and sadness all of that unconscious adolescent eros spilled out among the conjugating French verbs at your feet. A libation, though green, no less genuine, a tribute to the goddess. It's Miss Sandvik. Oh, wow.
Would you just say the word conjugate again for me?
No. This is a dream poem. It's called Moon River. Now I have to preface this by saying that my wife Krista and I regularly sing as a singing duo at the local nursing home. So this is based in reality. Moon River. In the dream, I'm singing Moon River to nursing home residents, monitoring the subtle responses, the nod, the smile, the wheelchair toe tapping, when suddenly I become aware of other voices. Notice standing among us a crowd of younger people who, to my surprise and delight, are joining in on the song. Not half-heartedly in the way of those cajoled into singing along, but really giving it their full-throated all, with closed-eye harmonies and angelic oohs and ahs, so that I don't even think to wonder where they came from or who they are. Maybe our old lost selves, our huckleberry friends, who for the residents are indeed waiting round the bend. And I am roughly crooning like Louis Armstrong, and the voices rising sweetly all around me, finally falling to a low, tenderly sustained finish. I say, no more, and everyone understands. We can't top that. That was for the ages. I see no disagreement in the old and young faces, so alike now, together, carried by singing into this richer silence. I'm going to read a couple of guzzles. You all know what guzzles are. Yeah, it's a bunch of poets here. Middle Eastern form. Robert Bly did an Americanized version of it, and often the convention in the ghazal is that the stanzas all end with the same word. So it's not quite a rhyme. It's a refrain of sorts. This is called Paradise Ghazal, and the world right now is like this. Paradise. It's almost winter, and the wildfire's moving on to another town. Tonight rain is falling on the ashes of paradise. That's when the Paradise Fire out in California was going. Yeah. And tonight rain is falling on the ashes of paradise. Women and children approach with hands empty, except for their hunger for safety. Razor wire and tear gas bar them from paradise. A bird of prey hovers over the burnt planet. Cars lie tipped on their sides, abandoned, rusting along the road to paradise. The ruler installed by oligarchs orders soldiers to fire on the asylum seekers. Men shout in the streets demanding paradise. It's a dream that grew out of the desert. A parched hand on the saddle's pommel remembered touching the fruit of paradise. Refugees warm themselves at a scavenged wood fire. At such gatherings, there's always a scruffy person with a guitar singing of paradise. A woman holds her lit candle at the curbside vigil. Another joins her, then another. Together, they are rebuilding paradise. And I'm going to throw in one. I put my water over here. Here it is.
How did they get the name Guzzle?
I think it means Song to the Beloved, and it's spelled G-H-A-Z-A-L. So
Oh,
it's not like
Guzzle,
it's not like
Gazelle.
what I just did.
Gazelle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is a recent poem. And it's a pretty Jungian poem. It's called Shadow King, and it's in 10 little parts. What we say we want, we do not want. What we say we do not want, we want. Royalty was always in America's shadow. We fought with one hand to get out from under a king, while the other hand, the one in darkness, kept a firm grip on the scepter and crown. Our resentment warehouses hundreds of years of grievance. And those arms manufacturers we kept suckling after World War II. It was us we secretly gave them permission to bomb. Eradication of native people, slavery, denial of climate change, our great historical crimes. Oh yes, and our little love affair with guns. Consciousness too heavy to carry. Its consumer showroom floor gives out. We find ourselves thrown down into the basement of our death wish. Unable to discover that unbearable to discover that our whole way of life is an idol, hollow and airless inside its guilt members. We can put up with any amount of cruelty, so long as he takes and breaks satisfyingly. We fester with resentment and are entertained. What has caused his complete identification with moral losers, the grifters, liars, con men, abusers, murderers, thieves, dictators? Did you hear him tell the German chancellor that D-Day was not a great day? Being Shadow King, he must have the greatest shadow anyone has ever had. We handed it to him, sent our fawning shadow ministers forth to anoint him through our grinding grievances at his feet. What he says he wants, he does not want. What he says he does not want, he wants. I would say to him, come, be honest with us, if just this once. Isn't it yourself you long to deport? Thank you.